I never believed in ghosts. Haunted houses, spooky stories, all nonsense. Figments of overactive imaginations. I scoffed at those who claimed otherwise. Then I stayed in room 306 of the Blackwood Hotel. The rain hammered down as I pulled up. A grim Gothic building loomed out of the mist. Gargoyles leered from the rooftop, casting long shadows in the fading light. The Blackwood Hotel. Inside, dust motes danced in the pale light filtering through grimy windows. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of damp and decay. The receptionist, a gaunt man with haunted eyes, handed me a key. "Room 306, he rasped, a hint of warning in his voice. I shrugged off the uneasy feeling and climbed the creaking stairs. Room 306. The door felt strangely cold beneath my hand. The room was large, with high ceilings and faded grandeur. Heavy velvet curtains, eaten by moths, shrouded the windows. A chill hung in the air despite the warmth of the summer night. I shivered, pulling my jacket tighter around me. I tried to shake off the oppressive atmosphere. It was just an old hotel in need of renovation, but the silence was unnerving. It pressed in on me, broken only by the creaking of the buildings settling around me. I unpacked my bag, placing my things on the dusty dresser. The mirror reflected a pale, drawn face. My reflection seemed to stare back at me, eyes wide with a fear I couldn't explain. The hairs on the back of my neck prickled. I was being watched. I lay in bed, unable to sleep. Every creak of the floorboards, every groan of the old building sent a jolt of fear through me. The silence was broken only by the incessant ticking of the grandfather clock in the corner. Then I heard it, a whisper, soft and low, coming from the far side of the room. I sat bolt upright, straining to hear. The whisper came again, a sibilant murmur that sent chills down my spine. I fumbled for the bedside lamp, my heart pounding in my chest. The room remained silent. Had I imagined it? Trying to calm my racing thoughts, I told myself it was just the wind whistling through the old windows, just the wind. But deep down, I wasn't convinced. Section 4. Whispers in the dark. The next day I tried to rationalize my experience. Sleep deprivation, an overactive imagination. I considered changing rooms, but dismissed the thought. I wouldn't give in to irrational fear. Nightfall came too soon. I lay in bed, every sense on high alert, listening for a repeat of the previous night's whispers. The grandfather clock chimed midnight, each clang resonating through the room like a death knell. Then it began, a slow, deliberate rapping on the wall. Tap, tap, tap. It was coming from the other side of the headboard, as if someone or something was trying to get my attention. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. The knocking continued, relentless, insistent. Section 5. Trapped in fear. Fear, cold and paralyzing, gripped me. I wanted to scream, to run, but I was rooted to the spot. The knocking stopped. Silence descended once more, heavier, more oppressive than before. Then a new sound, a slow, dragging sound, like furniture being moved across the floor. It was coming from the far end of the room, near the wardrobe. I forced myself to look. The shadows seemed to have deepened, twisting and contorting in the dim light, and then I saw it, a shape dark and indistinct, moving in the corner of the room. Section 6. A warning unheeded. I couldn't stay a moment longer. Throwing on my clothes, I grabbed my belongings and fled. I didn't stop running until I reached the relative safety of the hotel lobby. The gaunt receptionist barely looked up from his book. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked, a knowing smile playing on his lips. I couldn't bring myself to tell him, but as I left the Blackwood Hotel, the rain a cold torrent against my back, I heard him call out, his voice echoing in the night. "Room 306. It's been warned before." They never learn. I never learned the full story of room 306, but I knew with a certainty that chilled me to the bone that it held a darkness that whispered of unspeakable horrors. If you ever find yourself at the Blackwood Hotel, heed my warning, avoid room 306. Some doors are best left unopened, some secrets best left buried. Scene 7. The dark history unveiled. The Blackwood Hotel held many secrets, but none as dark as the tale of room 306. I couldn't rest until I unearthed the truth. Days after my escape, curiosity gnawed at me, pulling me back to the hotel. This time, I came prepared, armed with research and determination. Delving into the town's archives, I uncovered a chilling story buried beneath layers of time. Decades ago, room 306 was the scene of an unspeakable tragedy. A young couple, newlyweds, had checked in for their honeymoon, but what should have been a joyful celebration turned into a nightmare. The husband, driven mad by an unknown force, took the life of his bride before ending his own. The townspeople whispered of a curse, of spirits trapped in a cycle of torment. Those who dared to stay in room 306 reported eerie phenomena, disembodied voices, cold spots, and the feeling of being watched. But the most terrifying accounts came from those who saw the ghostly apparitions of the couple, forever reliving their final moments. Driven by a need to understand, I returned to the Blackwood Hotel one last time. The gaunt receptionist, now looking more spectral than ever, simply nodded as I requested information about the room. His eyes held a sorrowful knowledge as he handed me a faded photograph of the couple, their faces frozen in time. Standing outside room 306, I felt the weight of the past pressing down on me. The air was thick with an oppressive energy. Summoning all my courage, I placed my hand on the doorknob, but before I could turn it, a chilling whisper echoed through the hallway. "Leave while you still can." I heeded the warning, stepping back with a shudder. As I left the Blackwood Hotel for the final time, I couldn't shake the feeling that the spirits of room 306 were watching, waiting for their next victim. If you ever find yourself at the Blackwood Hotel, remember this tale. Heed my warning. Avoid room 306. Some doors are best left unopened, some secrets are best left buried, and some stories are better left untold. The end.